Get out of here. I'm really your money.
What's that?
I'm not coming down. You guys all move down. Now they're moving for me. Sorry.
Okay, we are. We're in open session right now, and first, I think we have to announce the vote of our executive session not of today, of March 31st. There was one vote taken. The vote was to whether we should continue or not continue the mediation with NEA Tiverton, and the vote was taken, and the vote was 3-2 in favor of continuing the mediation with Mrs. Black, Mrs. Kerman, and Mr. Wright voting for continuation, and Mrs. Coulter and I voting against continuation. So that's the only announcement, and we are going to move now to old business. And just for information, our executive session was recessed to deal with the public part of the session, and we go back to executive session. So the first item is simply old business.
Yes.
And this is budget.
Yes, the committee, the folks in the audience, just some background. The budget committee is going to print the docket. I believe they're going to the printer tomorrow. And they have requested, or they've allowed or granted us a meeting tonight for us to put a number in, or to submit a number that will go to the docket and be printed as such. We have stated at a couple of public functions, not functions but meetings, that the committee would recommend a number that would put us at the 4.5% cap. That is, the number is a 4.5% increase over what we received last year. Mr. Chairman, as we've spoken, and it's the pleasure of the committee, but I believe the committee, my recommendation is that we vote the number tonight and forward it to the budget committee. And if the committee would like me to go through what's potentially could be reduced, but not necessarily get into the particulars tonight, because we still have, mediation is still an issue that we need to deal with, but it's the pleasure of the committee.
I'd like to make a motion that we vote to send a number to the budget committee of $21,285,285, and that the school committee takes it on as a mission to sometime now and before school starts to have reduced our budget or found funds, new funds to support that number.
Separate discussion?
My response to that, Mr. Wright, is I agree with the 21,285,285, because that's 4.5 from the previous number. We've been advised by council that it should be a total number, because that's the total number. If we were just to get that number, we would not be able to meet the BEP. We need to put in, as we have in years past, the total number of dollars that we need, the school department needs, to fund the budget. And that number is $25,645,096. That's your number, plus $4,359,811. And that's for state aid operational only.
Reduced by 3.8%.
Yes, that's a 3.8% reduction from the previous year's state aid. General state aid, our operational aid, is 4.3 million, or 4,358,911.
I amend my motion to the higher number.
And I second that. And could I please speak just before we, just a small discussion?
We just have a discussion right now, yes,
Yeah,
please.
a small discussion that I said I would have all these weeks and months, and I've been waiting for the time. And we can't really vote on this year's without discussing last year's. Just quickly, if we get the docket from last year, and we look at the school committee requested, 25, 527, 959. Budget committee recommended, 25, 527, 960. Now, that was after months of debate, from January, February, all through the winter, sometimes heated debates between the school committee and the budget committee. But in the end, the vote was 8-2, with one abstention, to recommend the bottom line number, not bifurcated. They debated at that meeting whether to bifurcate the number, and that motion failed. And then this motion made by Mr. David Perry prevailed. So the school committee was very happy that we had all come together, as we had in the past 4 years with Mr. Carter and his group of men, after debating again. And even one night, we had a meeting an hour before the town meeting. They asked us to cut 100,000 and the town to cut 150 to get to where we needed to go. We made that vote an hour before the meeting. That's how we worked together. The town council, the budget committee, and the school committee. We all came together because one year there were 1,018 people in the auditorium. That's the last time the school committee and the other side, so to speak, went against each other, and that's not a good result. Who can load up the auditorium and get the money? Some people thought we got more than we needed. It ended up there was a $30 million mistake made by the assessor, so we were all okay. So my point is, that number was voted on. After that vote, Mrs. Rubin and myself had a sign made ourselves, not to take any money from the schools or the town, and we stood on state property. I checked with the police to make sure we weren't in town buildings, because if I was at a meeting at the library or wherever I was, and people would say to me, Sally, I heard a rumor you're going to ask for $500,000 extra for the school committee. I'd say, that's not true. Where are you hearing that? We heard it on the Helen Glover show the Friday before the town meeting. I was at Kmart and someone was yelling at me. How could you be so disingenuous to ask for that after you came to an agreement? I said, we would never do that. So we stood on the corners and the sign said, please come to the town meeting and vote for the budget committee's recommendations for the municipal and the school bottom line. We stood all over town with that, so people said, you're okay with that? You're all okay with that? And we said, yes, we are. We come to the town meeting, and you all know that we're there. A member of the budget committee who voted for that bottom line made the motion for local 20-049960, general state aid for 852-762 for a bottom line of 24,900,722. The room count was 666. God bless us all. Yes, 326, nay, 321. We lost by 5 votes, and people didn't vote. People in that room didn't raise their hand. Immediately upon that, Mr. Burgundy asked for us to go out and do the ballot, the secret ballot, which was all set up and ready to go. We could have all gone out there, and with it being that close, let's face it, if you're in an election and the state gets that close, you go up and they do the recount and everything. The answer was no, we're not going to do that. We're going to stay with this vote. Now I have to say, if that had been on the other side, oh my goodness, that would have never been. That would have been screaming and yelling by everyone. We were unfair and we stole the meeting and this and that. So that's what happened last year. People say to me, Sally, why didn't you put amendments on the floor? You always do. You always put people up. I said, no, because people get confused with the numbers, and they're going to think we're asking for that $500,000 extra. That wouldn't be good. We went straight and trusted, because when Mr. Carter and his men made a decision, we could trust that what they said was what was going to come out. So there's what happened last year, and I'll say it tonight, and I'll keep saying it till May 8th, because so many people don't know that happened. They were all confused about what happened. People apologized to me after they said, I'm so sorry, I didn't know. With that vote, we were cutting like $600,000 from the school side. Then we had to make cuts. People think we didn't make cuts. We lost people, we lost a nurse, we lost the school adjustment counselors, and so that's why they call it cuts, because it really hurts everyone. So just so everyone knows here tonight that that's what happened. It's right from the minutes. It's all factual. Thank you.